So it worked for quite a few years until we both got so big. It's kind of time to change. So, there's always times to do things a little bit different. And it was a time because we were managing cow days and how many cows we had and all that. But a lot, and then the other thing is with the group that I was in, we rented a trailer for a week. We went to 2 or 3 or 4 different farms. We do 1,500 or 2,000 somebody's farm. And so basically, great Jim Garris's farm, I basically trenched. When he lived in Missouri, we went down and trenched on his farm. So anyway, so the reason this works real well is if you want to give the cattle half an acre, or you want, you can get down to 1/10 of an acre if you want to, or you can give them 10 acres. You've got to water every 330 feet on those alternating lines. And what they are is a quick coupler that's buried in the ground and a 6-inch PVC tube. And the top of the coupler is about 12 to 15 inches. So whenever I stick my arm down in the tube and put in that coupler on top of the water. Okay. The other thing is, this is back before tire tanks. They had the concrete waters, and the other thing, I've tried mirror fountain waters. They're supposed to be a winter water. You put them up on top of the hill with no protection, they freeze. So the other thing I had to figure out, what's a cheap water system? I move these cattle all the time in the fall, and through the winter, what I'm going to have a water system that will work. So basically, how you keep water from not freezing is moving water not freeze. So you take a 100-gallon tub, you put a float valve system on it. You take a hose off where the valve is, and you drill a hole in the end of a garden hose cap, which you start out with a 1/16 hole, and you have enough water coming through there. You're wasting about a half a gallon a minute. And so then you kind of have to figure out, well, where am I going to let the drain water go? And so you either fence the cattle away from the backside of the water, or you do what I went to. I went to a bigger tank. I just let it go over the side of the tank and use the water without a problem. The other thing is that we're using a 50-foot hose, so we're not putting the water back in the same place all the time. So most places I've seen where they have the concrete waters, they're basically, there's a dead zone 30, 40, 60 feet away from the water. So, the water, you can build this whole system for like $300. And you can use it on your whole farm. I can't buy one winter watering system, one mirror fountain or anybody else's for that kind of money. So, most of my systems are high pressure, or they've got electric pump on them. I've got one where it's just gravity flow. And kind of what I've always found out is if you kind of look around, you see where the electrical lines are, and then you look at where your ponds are. Sometimes if they're within 800 or 900 feet, you can bury an electrical line, set you up a pump system, you're a whole lot better off building homes. And especially if you're willing to do your own trenching and put in your own pipe, it's really cost effective. We were getting the cost of the trench. I mean, this is the only cost, the cost of the trencher was like 5 cents a foot. Okay, so anybody know how much it costs to have a water line put in? Just to have them put the hallway in. You guys get into that?
Way more than that.
Okay, they're $1.20. Maybe depends on what kind of pipe you use. We were buying pipe. Some of it was less than 20. Some of it, I think the highest I ever paid was like 30 cents. 35 now, so 2 inch, or no, 1.5 inches. So, anyway, if you try to do it all by yourself, you're going to stumble. Partner up with people, find people that are doing the same thing that you're trying to do. That's why I like the homestead movement. And then especially when you're getting together and finding out what's your need. What are you doing that I might want to do, and you just make the connection. So one of the things with the Green Hills Farm project was instead of making it all educational, where you brought in the big time speakers or the person of the year as far as grazing is, every operation has their unique challenges, what they're doing good at, or what they're trying to do. And so I just love going to somebody else's farm and just kind of seeing what they're trying to do. If I think I can help them, I will. If they're doing more than I am or doing something different, I'm trying to learn from them. So, I don't know how to ask for questions because when I start asking, if you guys ask any questions, I'll never get that. I'll talk about the pigs because, after being in the swine industry, I kind of got disillusioned by, the big guys taking over everything. When it used to be a young person would get into the swine business and, he would make enough money, he could pay for the farm or buy groceries, at least buy groceries. It's kind of an in or out thing. If they wanted to be or they could stay in. And there was a lot of farmers, the big, there comes a time when you need to decide you're too big. When you got 30, 40 employees, that's probably not an idea of being too big. I've always tried to have, I either had my wife helping me when we were in the big business, or when it got to the point that she wanted to do something else besides trail me around, that we got a hired man. So I've had somebody help me for most of the last 20 years. It was either high school kids or I hired somebody full time. So, I've always tried to keep it right where, I'm not trying to supply the world with jobs. All I'm trying to do is just keep my, I have something to do, and I at least stay busy. If I want to get away, I've got somebody that I can handle it for a day or a week. The big deal was, I've seen a lot of pig operations. I've even seen pigs on their homestead. I watch a lot of YouTube videos. Just out of curiosity, because I know how I do things. I'm just curious what other people are doing. And like I said, I'm always looking for a new idea. And I think Joel Salvin, his pig operation, made a lot of sense. The only thing is, by the time the pigs moved out, the place looked like a didn't look quite like an asphalt. But, I mean, the pigs pretty well did a job. But, you know, by letting it rest, and then I think he made 2 cycles. And, you know, it wasn't too bad. The other thing is, the name of our farm is Grazing. So you know, here's my dichotomy. You know, I'm trying to graze animals, you know, sheep, goats, cattle. Pigs are not really grazing. But and the reason I got the pig business was somebody, we got German Baptists up, and they're, you know, they drive buggies, and they're right next to my farm. So, and, you know, they're kind of in the best production, you know, small, you know, sheep, you know, more of a subsistence living, you know, they'll work on people's, you know, the carpenters, build barns, other stuff. I mean, they moved in after I bought this property. So, anyway, I got to know them. And so one of them is about 3.5 years ago, they knew I'd raised hogs, so they started asking questions. So never ask me questions if you don't want to. So, or you don't want help. If, you know, if I know something about something, you know, I'll at least tell you the pitfalls of what I'm doing. The first thing I said, you don't want to try to raise hogs in confinement like I did, because nobody wants to buy your product. You know, you can't even find a hog market unless you got a trailer of them on tabs. So I said, you know, you have to be a passionate system. And I said, I don't know much, but I know a few things that will probably keep you out of trouble. So anyway, so I loaded him up one day, and there was an office operation where they were finished pigs in a barn, and then they had, you know, the deal was they had a great big barn where they had feeders in it and had pasture ground that they let the hogs out. And it was, it's kind of one of these deals. I was asking a veterinarian about anybody that had pasture hogs in the county. He kind of got a smirk on his face and kind of laughed. Well, up there at Modena, they got some hogs that look like woolly, look like sheep. And I said, well, that's kind of interesting. So I said, well, he kind of told me where it was at. So the day I loaded him up, I said, well, let's go up and see what the deal was about these hairy hogs. So anyway, I took him around, and I said, you really don't want to buy these hogs because they're such a niche pig. They're called magnets. And but he didn't listen to me. He got eight of them, I think. And so and then he got him to farrow in about December. So he was farrowing right at the end where anyway, he did it. So anyway, and then I figured my grandson needs a little help. Need to learn a little agricultural production, you know, with pigs. So I bought him 6 Magdalene kilns. And so that was kind of trying to keep him in with tape and stuff, you know, tape. And they ended up by a barn, you know, with a corral system. I mean, in a prison camp, I guess, is what you would say. And so, anyway, about the time I said, well, we're going to butcher these. And I said, well, why? I'll take 3 of them. I'll take the meat out of one, and then I'll buy back 3 of them. So anyway, I knew there was a challenge of holding pigs in, so I really didn't know what was. But anyway, everybody, where do you put pigs? Where are you supposed to have pigs?
The forest.
In the forest. Okay, That's what I thought too, the best place for, wild pigs, or, heritage pigs is in the woods. So I did have a hedgerow that went back into some it was a fence line, it was an old road. I thought, oh, that's the perfect place to put them. So that's where I put them. And so here old grandpa was having trouble keeping his pigs in. So by the end of that year, I decided we were going to have to do something different. They're going to want to have a sheriff at my place. So I had him once. Anyway, besides, I'm a grazer, so one of the problems with being in the woods is there's only a certain time of the year where you really have fun. And that's in the fall. The rest of the time, there's nothing for me. And what I noticed when I set my original up, I had a bean field on the other side of the hedgerow, and I had the grass that I was grazing. So I kind of let them get over on the grass for the cows. And see, the sows and the pigs, they just graze that. It's like, well, that's, they eat that off, and then they start working the ground and kind of bearing it. And so I figured, why don't I do what I did with the cattle? I'm going to put them out on some of my better ground that is fairly flat, so to make it easy to fence. So basically what we did, we took high tensile wire, what I call it is a racetrack. So it's 100 feet wide, 700 feet long, and then you make a corner, and you come back, it's 100 feet wide, and 700 feet back. Okay, I already kind of had a water system. There was water every 330 feet, so I had water every 330 feet in the top race. So basically, I used the first year, I just used hose. I had 100-foot hose strung out down the hill. It's kind of on a slope. So anyway, that gives you an idea. You go down, and you come back, and you just keep going. It takes about 2 months to make the circles. I move them every week, most of the time. And the real ticket on making a pig graze is, everybody, they want to put those nose rings in the top of their nose. And most of the places I've seen with those really never work very good. So I went to what they were called a humane augury. Basically, it goes in the top. It's got a little lip on the top. And it will make your pigs graze like sheep and cattle. Okay. The other thing is, when you do this, they're probably not going to want to work on a self-feeder. So, so I was trying to figure out, is this even going to work? Can I feed a minimal amount of corn and make this have a product that we use? So, anyway, we kind of decided about 2 pounds of corn, and that gave you some control over the pigs. They have to get away from you. If you showed up with corn, you could always get them back. The other thing is they're always in lettuce. But basically, a single wire is high tensile. It's about this high. Okay, both ends are just a steel post in the ground. And then I use a real light wire to hold the high tensile wire so it can be adjusted. My posts that I use to hold the fence up are my old fence posts. These are the blue ones. There's a lot of different fence posts, but the ones you use that are fence supposed to do New Zealand, I don't know. I can remember it if I wasn't under pressure. But anyway, that way you can lift them up, you can move them over a little bit if you have to. The other thing is you're going to have to reheat them underneath because the grass will grow up and the pigs can't see it. I don't know. But if they hear that little clicking sound, they know it's there. That's my big claim to fame as far as the pig operation, basically raising pigs without turning everything to mud. So, if you're going to do it, you either have a lot of ground to run on, or either rain. So, anyway, I'm going to talk about questions. Want me to shut up?
We don't want you. I don't want you to shut up. So you're running it basically in like a windmill, then a circle. You're saying?
Well, it's like a racetrack. You go down, make a curve, come back.
Oh, okay.
It's a straight line.
So you're stopping them at intervals?
I'm stopping it at intervals. I mean, I've got the hog net. 100-foot rolls ahead. I don't use it unless I have to.
Because you're trying to use it.
Yeah, but
That's what Joel has.
yeah, he's got, I think he only uses one or two. Okay, the gates, for gates, he uses one man. Mine, I'll just unhook one. When I get to the one end, I'll unhook it. I've got two different ways. I got a gate at one end, the other end, I just unhook it, kind of pull it around. Big sea green grass, no wire in front of it. Joe says pig won't move across the wire, but he's big.
Or it's been electric. Yeah, they get used to that boundary something. But it depends on your pig.
The pigs I got,
They don't care.
you think you can move it, if you raise it up, they don't come up. I moved the sows, I got two sows, and I raised the pigs on it. So we're grazing around our homestead. So I've got we had to hold it back with netting. We opened the netting out. I have this little sled that I put corn in. And as fast as I can walk, we walked probably 100 feet, 150 feet. We had already propped the fence up. They'd already been there before. They ran in, threw the corn on a piece of concrete. So fast. Anyway, even little pigs, if you go to two wires, one pretty close to the ground, and put another one out, a little bit higher. One out here, one here. You basically got a pretty good pig. But you have to use high tensile. You can't use the polycord or the tape. When they go into it, they don't get that pressure back. They don't have that pressure back to stop.
Have you
The
tried?
thing is, I don't agree to salad once a year because I'm trying to make this as simple as I can. I want to raise the pigs and I kind of get the experience. But I don't want to have 2 litters. If I have 2 litters, you just got 4 groups. You got a group of little ones. You got one you're trying to finish. Then you got the size of the little pigs. So you kind of have to pick your battles on this. I was stared at, I said I could only feed them 2 pounds. 2 pounds. I mean, when they are big, I've got something I'm gonna get slaughtered here at the end of October. They get 2 pounds a queen.
Like a beating or
Once a day.
2 pounds. That's maybe easy. How long do you grow out your anglers?
Well, they're born in like June or July, and they get slaughtered in like October. Last year I did some in December, but I mean,
Of the next year or the next?
of the next year, so they're
Longer.
basically.
They're 15 years old.
15.
What weight do you slaughter them at?
Okay, I don't have a live weight, but the slaughter weight, usually over, the slaughter weight's over 140 pounds. I've had some up 165. Okay, so for somebody that's into economics, guess how many bushels of corn it takes to finish a meal? Yeah.
How many bushels?
Yeah, how many bushels? I'll give you the formula. 2 pounds a day. And it's 365 plus, you might add another 4 months. So how many pounds of corn? So it's
1,000.
1,000 bushels.
Pounds, I think, let's see. About 1,000 pounds, and there's 50 bushels, so it'd be about 20 bushels.
Well, I figured 17, so you're a little higher. You kind of get the idea. I mean, the hogs that I had in confinement,